So first and foremost, I'd like to welcome everybody to today's presentation for the TickBlaze Marketplace. And I'm really excited because this has been one of those events that we've been planning for over a year now. And we've got teams working both on the platform, the development app store, as well as the back-end data teams to be able to bring this event to market. Now, first and foremost, your attendance is always appreciated. I'm always grateful to see so many great traders in here of like-minded interest. Want to thank you for those of you that are using TickBlaze or that are a part of our community, and really appreciate your guys' interest in our products and services. For those of you that are new here and just learning about TickBlaze and what we're doing, and I just want to welcome you and assure you you're in the right group of people. You'll definitely be able to learn and grow with all of the traders that we are at arm's length with. We are going to be doing this presentation. We are recording it. I always just like to cover a couple groundkeeping rules before I kick things off. My team is here. We've got a full roster. We're here to help answer questions. If I don't answer your questions throughout the presentation, I will answer them. I will go through them. We will spend an allotted time for Q&A so that we can go over them. And all I ask is that you be patient. Let me get through the presentation, and then what we will do is we will go through this and we will get through all of the details in due time. And then after that, we will spend all of that time going over your questions, the promotions, any discounts, any opportunities for existing users, etc. So that way everybody feels heard and also basically provided to. Okay. Now, if you can't stay for the entire event, don't worry. We will send you a recording with all of the details and everything in an email, but you definitely want to make sure you check your email today, because promotions are limited and time sensitive. So we will be going over them in quickly, and just make sure you get in touch with our sales team and our client success team following the event. Okay. Now, with that being said, striker profiles. I'll tell you a little quick story. A couple of years ago, well, first of all, I started as an options trader long time ago, before I ever even knew what futures was. And I was fascinated with the markets. I graduated from a corporate finance degree, and I studied corporate finance, and I studied Canadian securities courses, and all of the stuff that you do when you're in school and university and college, and you're interested in the markets. I did it, and then what I did was I went and learned how to trade in Toronto. And the very first courses I ever took was on options. I didn't really know that I was jumping in feet first with the most complicated process in the business. So I learned stocks, and then I just gravitated naturally to options because I was a stats major. So my best subject was mathematics and stats. And when you're in corporate finance, it all just kind of fits, right? And I learned very quickly that options is extremely complicated, extremely difficult, and yet it is the backbone to literally everything in the financial markets. Like, nothing exists in the equities and the futures markets without options dictating it first. And when I realized that, and I'd learned how to go over to futures, because I was fascinated with the day trading space, and I wanted to just be a day trader at that time, I realized that I started looking at options on futures and options data on futures and just kind of understanding it. But there was very little resources in the industry to help us retail traders. And there was no platforms and no resources to do anything of merit that was happening in the option space. Okay. And when we launched a bunch of other products years ago on some of the other technology providers that we've worked with, we then realized that we wanted to build an options tool that nobody else had built before. But the problem was always the data. Okay, the problem that everybody, as developers and architects on the software side, we always ran into data problems because we couldn't build a tool that we knew we wanted to build, because then everybody would have to go out and buy options data, and not all the platforms supported it, and not all the platforms could do what we wanted to do with it. So we were really limited to essentially the infrastructure. It wasn't by design. It wasn't that we didn't have good innovation, or that we didn't know what we wanted to build. It's that none of the platforms in the world could offer us what we wanted to build. And so when we acquired TickBlaze, the first thing I did with our data partners was I said, can we do this? And they said, well, anything's possible. It's not going to be easy, and nobody else has done it. But if you truly want to do it, we can do it. You just have to build it. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money, and it's going to take a lot of resources. But if you do this, it will change the industry for traders, because no other platform in the world can do this. And that's when I knew we had to proceed. That's when I knew we had to build this. That's when I knew we had to do this. And this is the work of over 20 people working for the last year of building proprietary institutional intelligence into a trading platform for retail traders using options levels information. Okay. Now, the reason I call this institutional intelligence is because it's exactly that. This isn't something that I made up. This isn't something that my team decided, oh, let's just go and try and build something. No, there's something going on behind the scenes in the options industry that the retail traders don't understand is happening. And it's the foundation for everything. And what we needed to do was we needed to automate it and make it as seamless as possible, so that every single one of you could have this power that puts you into a different level as a trader. Now, it is 100% made for day traders. It is available on stocks and futures only at this time. And it is only available in TickBlaze, because we're the only platform in the world that is batshit crazy enough to venture down a path and do this. And to our benefit, it is going to help every single one of you on every single market that you're trading, on every single strategy. And what's really cool about this is that this isn't meant to replace what you're using. It's meant to be added on every single chart that you ever trade, because if you don't use this information, you're literally blindfolded to what the institutions are actually doing. No, this isn't volume profile. No, this isn't market profile. No, this isn't supplier demand or support or resistance or some manually things that we're drawing on our charts. This is literally the information that the institutions are doing behind the scenes to move the market. And they are going to show us what they're doing every single day. And because we can extract that data, we're proud to launch the Striker profiles for you today. Okay. Now, knowing that, that's a pretty big opener. Give me a yes that you're freaking excited for this, because I promise you, this is going to be a webinar that you're going to watch over and over again, because we've spent an entire year planning for this. Okay. Now, because it's such a big deal, the markets kind of are a big deal, and we are talking about trading. Please type a Y in the chat box so that I know that everybody here accepts the disclaimer, so we can move forward like professionals. Okay. Now, thank you. So I just want to come out and say that there may be some of you that are familiar with other providers in the industry that do have options levels resources. They're great companies. They're actually built into TickBlaze, partnered with TickBlaze. There's other companies out there that have independent products on their platforms. My hat goes off to them because they've done some pretty innovative things. I just want to make it very, very clear that everything that we're doing here today is completely different than what those products do. That is by design. Okay. This is not GexBot. This is not MentorQ. This is not the CME website. This is not that. So if you're using anything like that, I promise you that those resources are very valuable. And I'm very, very happy to say that I think a lot of those companies deserve all the success in the industry. Striker is in a different level, different league, different category. It's built differently. What it does by design is differently. The way that it's tradable is different. Everything behind Striker is completely different. So I just wanted to say that going forward, so that way there's no confusion, okay? So today, my promise to you is very simple. I am going to give you an unfair advantage. This isn't some hocus pocus. I am going to provide you with resources that until now have never been available for retail traders in the futures and the equities markets. The way that we are displaying the data and providing you the information for you to be able to trade on your charts. It's never been done before in any platform around the world. We're pioneering new ground, okay? I am going to show you exactly where the institutions are buying and selling and why they're doing it. The key here is why they're doing it, what the information is telling you, how you should be trading it, and how you should be using it with every other strategy that you're using. I am not here to tell you to stop doing what you're doing. I'm here to tell you that if you put Striker on your charts, it will change the way you make decisions based off of levels in the market. Okay. Now, it is an add-on for TickBlaze. What's unique about this is that we felt so strongly about it. It's literally built inside of the platform. It's not an indicator like you go into the indicators and you find it. No, it is a part of the actual platform infrastructure. This is the big change. This is the big difference. It's literally a part of TickBlaze. Okay. It's a part of the toolbar. It's a part of the right-click menu. It's a part of the whole back-end data infrastructure, which means we're able to automate the automation of the options data directly into the platform in real time based off every single data feed that you're provided to. Okay. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Okay. Yes, you can use it for prop. Yes, you can use it for other data feeds. Yes, you can connect to different data feeds. It's all built into the back end. Okay. We'll talk about what that means here in a moment. Now, the goal is to simplify very complex information. For the last year, our whole design team spent weeks and weeks on the UI UX infrastructure to make it literally plug and play so that you as retail day traders don't have to think. You just need to look at where the levels are and understand what they're telling you so that you know what the banks are going to do, what they mean, what it's telling you, what you should be doing without having to look at any complex information. Okay. And this is, if anybody's ever looked at volume profile before, has anybody here ever looked at volume profile? Type of yes if you've heard of volume profile, you've looked at volume, you've looked at market profile or anything like that. Okay. We've built this using the options chain. Okay. And you're going to love the design of this because this was designed to be extremely, extremely visually enhanced. Okay. And at the end of all this, okay, my goal is to put you into a position where you can actually say, okay, I'm trading where the pros are actually trading because you can see their hand. If you've ever played poker and you lay it on the table and you're all in and everybody can see your hand, that's exactly what we're doing here today, is we're going to show you their hand. And for the first time ever, you can see what the institutions are doing behind the scenes with options and leverage, because that's why they're using options. Institutions aren't coming in here just buying contracts on the S&P or going in and trading the spiders or the QQQs. They're coming in with so much size, they have to use options because it imposes leverage for them to come in and do major, major movement. There's a reason options are used for the big boys. And there's a reason why the markets do what they do every day. And you're going to be blown away by the accuracy of this information. When I seen it, when we completed it, and we were able to actually see what it was doing, we were like, you know, it's one of those leap of faith, sort of speaks, when you put so much resources behind it because you just know that it's going to be powerful. But when you see it, you're like, wow, I didn't expect it to be that powerful. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay. Now, if you're a futures trader, this is for you. If you're an equities trader, this is for you. Okay. If you're tired of wondering why regular support and resistance just doesn't work, I mean, sure, once in a while you'll hit a good supplier demand zone or you'll put some fibs on your chart and but it's never the same every day because, one day supplier demand holds and support and resistance holds and the next day it doesn't. There's a reason for it, because technical analysis does not have anything to do with what they're doing in real time inside the back end of the options chains. Has nothing to do with intent. So let me explain this. Yes, technical analysis has its place. Yes, indicators have their place, but that doesn't give you intent. At any given time, big players can change their decisions. They can move things around. Doesn't matter if you have a great trend or if you have a range or if you have a tool on your chart. Fundamentals will always drive technicals. And so what we're doing is that you're going to have an institutional data advantage because it's backed with fundamental data that's feeding the technicals of this software. We've taken fundamental data and we've turned it into a technical analysis tool, which to me is the foundation of everything that everybody should be wanting. I wish that I had this when I first started. It would be a gift. Okay. Now, why is this important? Because fundamentals drive everything in the markets, but nobody can put a technical component to it. And this is what we were able to do. And on top of that, it wasn't just based off of some random news. It's based off of leverage and options information from the banks. And if you know how to take that data and extract it, we're going to be able to show you where they're actually participating. But the key is understanding why. Why are they doing what they're doing? What is the information telling you and what that means for you? Okay, now I'm going to show you why options flow is controlling the market. Okay, it controls it. It's not maybe it's important. Everything you thought you knew about price action is driven by options data. The options market moves the equities market, not the other way around. The options market moves the futures market, not the other way around. Therefore, whatever happens in the options market is why your charts are moving. It's important you understand this and come to believe this because it is fact. It's not Sean's opinion. I'm not here trying to say my thoughts on the matter. This is fact. So when you think about it, as a day trader, are you interested in what's happening next week or next month, or are you focused on today? You tell me. If you're a day trader, okay, what's more important to you? Yesterday, 10 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now, 20 days from now? Yeah, exactly. The next 10 minutes. Exactly, Bill. What's happening now? What's happening today? So we built this by design because a lot of other companies that try to do options analysis, it's not really built for day traders, right? And this is the biggest issue is like, I didn't understand why. Like, this is the lion's share of the market, right? Not everybody's swing trading and investing here. And day traders are where the real money's made. That's where the activity is. And so when zero DTE options started to peak its head over the last year or so and started to gain traction, it was the best thing that ever happened to what we were doing because it really solidified how we wanted to build this infrastructure. Zero DTE stands for 0 days to expiration. And what this means is that any of the information that we're showing today is based off of the options chains and the options contracts that are expiring today. And why this matters is because this is where we're going to get the most explosive and reactive moves because the options are expiring, which means the volume matters, the open interest matters, the gamma volume matters, and standard deviation matters. And it's the battleground for you. So we're going to show you how to automate this using Striker profiles. And the key thing is you're going to understand that once you start to see this, you're going to realize that you're trading blind without it. Like, you're not going to want to trade without it because you're going to realize that I wish I knew where the levels are today. Like, I want to know what the banks are doing today. Like, let me ask you a question. If every single day I sat down with you in a chair in your desk and I had a piece of paper in my hand and I said, hey, John Smith, I'm going to use John Smith. He's the avatar for everybody in here. Okay. Hey, John Smith, I know exactly where the institutions are hedging the S&P today. I know where they're going to be selling, where they're going to be buying. I know where we should be doing pullback trades, where we should be doing reversal trades. Would you like to see that information? What would be your answer? If I could hand you a piece of paper every single day and I explained it to you and I showed it to you would you want that information? Like, if I don't see a yes from everybody in here, you don't belong in this event because you're trading in their arena. Newsflash, they don't owe you homage. You owe them homage. They're the ones that create the market for you. This isn't retail day in the markets. This is an institutional breeding ground for billions of dollars moving from country to country every single day. And if I could give you a piece of paper and said, listen, you're looking at crude today. Oh, here's where they're going to be buying. Here's where they're going to be selling. You should be trading pullbacks all the way down to that level. You should be taking reversals off of that level. Would you want that information? I already know the answer to this, but the question needs to be, do you understand why that's valuable? Okay. Now, live examples. I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to be showing you everything that you can possibly want to do with this. Okay. And the goal here is to give you a step-by-step process that ultimately is automated for you. Like, you will not have to do anything other than click a button. Okay. And you will be able to turn this on and you will be able to trade this in combination to everything that you're using on the chart. Okay. Now, let's go into a little bit of a foundation. 6 to 7 months ago, I went on a quest to do this manually. Okay. I tried to do this manually. And it actually started from me reading a book from Ray Dalio because I was fascinated by how the funds were moving their money around. And inside of his book, he talked about how everything they did was built off of fundamental data. None of the funds, none of the quant firms, none of the big players that he ever worked with or had relationships with, you could read the book, he'll tell you about it. None of it was built off technical analysis. Everything of any merit by any big player, okay, was based off fundamentals. And when I heard that was when I really took this a lot more serious in the last year. And I went to town building out the Striker trading system. Now, many of you guys have heard of the Striker trading system because we released a strategy in the last year that many of you guys have heard. How many of you guys have heard of the Striker trading system? Okay. You guys have probably heard it. Some of you have purchased it. We've been trading it inside of the trading rooms for the Tick Blaze Academy. It was such a successful strategy. And the reason we did it was because this is the backbone to understanding why we did it. We wanted to understand the advantages to the asset classes that we're trading. You see, stocks has an advantage. It's driven by fundamentals. It's driven by options in the stock market. It's driven by that type of catalyst, options and fundamentals on options. It's driving the equities markets. Forex and crypto don't have that advantage. Forex and crypto don't have options chains on it. It's not really built that way. But futures, it's all about the options for hedging. And see, the key here is that options for futures and equities are the foundation for why the asset classes do what they do, right? And so when you understand, if you're going to trade futures or if you're going to trade stocks, you should understand the foundation. Like, it's kind of like a surgeon. Like, you're not going to go and operate if you don't understand the anatomy of the body, because the tools will be rendered useless. Crypto and Forex cannot do that. They don't have this advantage. So technically, when you understand this as a day trader, you're at an advantage using this type of software for stocks and futures, because it's designed to give you an inside look of what you do not have or you cannot do manually. And this is super, super important, because if you're going to pick your poison and you're going to trade a certain asset class, you should always know what it is that's doing the things that it's doing. So why is the market moving the way it is? Why is the market stopping where it is? Why is the market trending today? Why is the market stopping in a range today? Options data will tell you that. And there's a reason for it. They're hedging the market. They're holding the market in certain ranges to keep the options expirations expiring within certain areas. Let me explain something to you. If an institution has hundreds of millions of dollars and it's exposed at leverage, and they're going to keep those options in a certain position for the day, because if not, it's going to cause liquidations on hundreds of millions of dollars, they're going to control the market. And so they're going to hold price within a certain range. They're going to keep the market doing certain things because that's why they have options on those positions. It's one of the reasons why the S&P does what it does every day, is because it's driven by the options. And so I'm here today to give you that fundamental advantage. Now, the reason it's for three things. Options are all about leverage, hedging, and directional bets. Three things and three things only. This is everything to an institution. Okay, this is everything to an institution. An institution needs to take advantage of leverage, okay, because they can't come in and out of the market with the size that they want to and not change the market sentiment the way that they would. Big players have to use options because of the leverage and because of their size. It's not just about the profit potential. It's because they have no choice. Okay. Options are also going to be used for hedging. They're going to keep the market within certain price ranges on purpose. They're going to either trend the market on purpose because they know they need to do business at specific price points based off fundamentals. So when a market goes into a trending market for the day, it's because they specifically are moving the market from point A to point B to do specific business based off leverage and predetermined books of business between big players. That's it. That's all. And that's where directional bets come in place, is because they're going to make money going from point A to point B, or they're going to make money holding the market in certain places on purpose by design. So this is where you get to have these information points on your chart, where you then get to trade them as reversals, as trends, as ranges. And you get to put that on your chart. You never need to put support and resistance on your chart ever again. You never need to do this. This will do it all for you, and it's backed with so much more valuable information. You would be considered gambling if you're just drawing trend lines or you're just putting support and resistance on your chart. That's just you. That's you. And no offense, I like everybody here, including myself, but what the hell do we know? Like, we draw on a chart because we draw some indicator or some support and resistance line or some draw tool. Do we really think the market's going to respect that? It could, if you get lucky, but it's going to do what it's going to do because the market does what it's going to do. And when you understand why it's doing that, you're going to realize it's because of the options data that created that movement. Now, the reason behind all this is that when we release the striker strategy, for those of you that don't know what the striker strategy is, you're in luck. You don't need to do all the heavy lifting like all of the other traders have been over the last 6 months or so. Many of you have basically joined what we did for months manually. We taught how to go into the information. We were teaching traders, okay? We were teaching traders how to read gamma, how to read open interest, how to read the strike price data, how to read standard deviations, how to read the volatility skew, how to read puts and calls in the big areas of volume and open interest. The problem with this is that over time, it just became a lot of work. Like, how many of you guys, and this is for everybody in here that knows what I'm talking about, how many of you guys have learned the striker methodology with us and realize that it takes a lot of time every day and a lot of work to be able to take this information and put it into actionable trading information? We all want to. We all know it's important. And by design, it's a pain in the ass because, yes, but let me explain something to you. This is exactly why we built striker profiles. We automatically do all of this. We automatically do all of this for you without you having to lift a finger. You don't have to do anything. You don't need to go into the websites anymore. You don't need to comb through CME data. You don't need to worry about standard deviation graphs and looking at the profiles on the wrong vertical looks. Like, I wish we were able to build this sooner. I wish we had this years ago. But, you know, they say timing is everything. This is a game changer. And what's really awesome about this is that when you know what the data is doing, when you understand what the data is doing behind your tool, it gives me chills to actually understand how to sell this to you guys and share this with you, because I know how powerful the information is. Like, there's literally there's just a different level of belief. You know, it's kind of like when you know 100% that the information that you're looking at has extreme merit versus just random indicators on your chart. There's a different level of confidence that happens when you are trading that information. And the level of fear drops drastically. You become more confident. You become less concerned. You become less afraid of trading because you learn to trust the information that's on your chart. And this is the one thing that I cannot give you in the past. Like, it just wasn't available. And what's really, really powerful is that we've built logic to put probability analysis to tell you which levels are the strongest versus the weakest, so that we can actually rank the data. So I can tell you with a 99.8% level of accuracy where the market's going to stop today and where they're going to roll the options for major reversals. Like, I know this because we pull the data from the chain, and I can tell you with a 99.8% of accuracy within 3 standard deviations where they're going to keep the market today, which tells me exactly where the big reversals are going to be, which tells me exactly where the trends are going to stop, and when you should be trading trends going to the outer extremes. This type of data, this could change the narrative for everybody here. Okay, now, imagine this. This is yesterday. I waited patiently. I just waited for price to get to that little orange line on the chart. Took a nice scalp, real quick bounce trade, bing, bang, boom, in it for $1,000. Like, literally didn't touch the market up here, didn't touch the market. Just as soon as it got to my level, I don't even hesitate. Like, I just go in with as many contracts as I can. Why? Because I know this level was the biggest level on the entire day. Like, there's no confusion what happened off that level yesterday. So I took the trade. Now, why? Because our software is going to tell you the intent. It's also going to tell you the commitment of the institution. So they're going to tell you what they're doing, how committed they are to those levels. We're then going to give you the impact, which is going to tell you what type of reaction should we be expecting from those levels, which all sums up to the result of where they're trading and how they're trading and why they're trading. There's nothing else in the world that does this, right? Like, there's no supply or demand software could ever do this, because that's just, you're just looking at patterns, right? You're just, this tells me what they're doing, how committed they're doing it, what type of impact I can expect off of it, and the result of why they're doing it. Like, and you don't need to code anything. You don't need to draw anything. You don't need to plot anything. You don't got to go study some options chain. No more logging into CME websites and looking at the data manually. No more getting up 2 hours early to plot the levels. Nothing. And for those of you that never had to go through those pain points, consider yourself blessed. For those of you that have never been exposed to this type of trading before, I promise you, this is going to change the way you look at the markets. Okay. Now, let's talk about this for a second. Now, don't get overwhelmed with all the text on here. Okay. This is an image from our user documentation. We're going to get into all of this, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to explain it and what it's doing. We're going to do demos on it. We're going to talk about this. Okay. Now, the solution to everything, and this is the future of TickBlaze, and I believe that This will be the foundation for adoption into our technology. And I believe that so many users are just going to be using our technology because of this. What the software is designed to do behind the scenes, not just on the chart, but it's going to extract options data from the options chain. We have a relationship with the data provider. We built the options feeds inside of the back end of the TickBlaze platform, and we buy the data for you. Let me repeat this. We have a relationship with the data provider. We buy the data for all of you, and it is built into the platform. You do not need to pay for options data to use the software. That is the big kicker. Okay. So right out the gates, we're comping the data for you. We are automatically going to plot the levels. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you where the banks are buying and where they're selling. And it's going to prove why it's important. How do we prove why it's important? Because we're going to show you the intent, the commitment, and what we can expect off these levels. Some levels are less powerful than others. Some levels have bigger intent than others. This is information that is very important to you. It's very important to everybody. And I'm going to teach you how to read it. So every single day, you load your chart, you literally click one button, turn it on, it automatically loads the data. And then what it's going to do is it's going to show you everything. And it's going to paint the full picture to you. We'll also be able to control how it plots the strength settings so that you never have to guess where the market's going to do what it's going to do. Okay. Now, here's a great example of what it looks like. Now, we're going to get into the settings. We're going to get into what the levels mean, what they're telling you, what it's doing. Great example. I took this trade yesterday. I just wanted to use relevant information. The market dropped. Boom, 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 boom. This level and this level are the two biggest levels for the day. Okay. There's a reason why I loaded up on that level. There's a reason why the market went from here and went all the way down to this level. There's reason for this. And we're going to be able to tell you how to read the software so you don't play with diddling in the middle. You don't mess with anything on the road. And you literally will trade all of these down to the big levels. You'll reverse off the big levels and you'll trade trends off the small levels in between the big ones. So for those of you that are wondering, hey, when should I be trading the trend versus when should I be trading the reversal? Our software is going to do that for you 100% of the time. Why? Because it's going to show you what the banks are doing. It's going to show you where the banks are telling you to go this way. It's going to tell you what the banks are doing going that way. There's a reason why this was a reversal yesterday versus this was a trend off of these levels on the way down. Why when it broke this was a trend coming into this on the way down. We're going to get into how to trade it. We're going to show you how to do it. I'm going to paint the picture very clearly. Okay. Now, this is all based off 0 DTE. Okay. You don't have to do any plotting. All you need to do is understand how to set the settings. And we're going to show you how to do that. Now, you can plot it on any chart. So the goal here is that it goes on any chart. So if you're trading 15-second charts and you're trading the trend breaker, if you're trading Renkos or you're trading time charts, you can do this because the goal of it is for it to be on your chart always. You always want it on your chart always. Why? Because you always want to know what they're doing, no matter which strategy you're trading. Okay. Yes, it will, Tom. It'll tell you which levels are the best to trade and which ones. So it'll tell you where to get in. It'll tell you which levels to buy or sell at. And it's going to tell you where to take your targets. Because the software is going to show you the biggest levels. You trade the biggest levels, and then you take your targets at the ones in between. We call that strike price analysis. You're going to trade the biggest, strongest strikes, and you're going to take profits at the strikes in between. That's your targets. That's critical. We're going to talk about trade management when we get into the software. Yep. Okay. So the goal here is that many of you are trading a lot of different things. We're not trying to replace that. We're trying to make this way, 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 way better. I promise you that everything that you're already trading is going to become more consistent because you're now going to make better decisions using this information in conclusion to what you're already doing. And I know a lot of you are just going to stop trading what you're trading. You're going to start using this because it's a no-brainer. Okay. Now, on top of this, we have a data analysis box. What we do is we also understand that the option chain is just, nobody wants to read an options chain. Nobody wants to become a data scientist. Nobody wants to become an options market maker as a retail trader. Shit, life's too short. I don't believe in that. Okay. But we take the data, okay, from the options chain and we pull the information that matters. Okay. We're going to tell you whether volatility is large or small relative to previous volatility skews, which is going to give you the expectation of what to expect today. If our software says high, it's because we expect high volatility based off of the option chain. We pull that data from implied and historical volatility. We're also going to tell you whether or not you have a higher sentiment of sellers versus buyers with institutions. We're going to tell you if there's more sellers than buyers based off what the open interest inside of the chain. Why is this important? Well, today you're going to look on some of the markets and it was screaming to the sell side. Way more puts than calls, which will normally going to tell you if I've got high volatility, okay, and I've got high open interest for puts, which is here, right, or calls, whichever one's telling at that time, it's normally going to be volatile to the short side. So it means you sell the levels, you don't buy them. We're going to talk about strategy and we're going to talk about how you approach everything. Now, a couple things. We're going to look at volume on the chain. We're going to look at open interest. We're also going to look at gamma. We're not just looking at GEX levels. So this is where I get a lot of questions like, oh, is this like Mentor Q and all that? No, it's not at all. We're pulling gamma in a different way. We're looking at open interest on gamma. We're also looking at gamma volume. And we rank this with over 40 profiles. So this is very different. Like I just want to be very, very clear. Okay. And we will plot the gamma flip where the relationship between puts and calls happens, where the transition takes place. Has anybody ever heard the term like the TSN tipping point? You know, when you have like, you know, you're the underdog and then all of a sudden something happens in the game where the underdog becomes the overdog, right? Same thing happens in the options chain every day. There's a point in the chain that will transition from calls to puts where you're going to see the relationship between all the buyers and all the sellers shift. And we call that the gamma flip. And we're going to talk about that inside the chain. And we're going to talk about that on the chart. Now, the big part of what we do, this is critical. A big part of what we do is we take the standard deviations and we apply it to volatility. So let's pretend this is current price. Okay. And what we do when the market is moving is we're going to take 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations from price. And what we're going to do is we're going to identify all of the options data within those standard deviations, because there is a 98% chance that price is going to stay within those 3 standard deviations. So what we're going to do is we're going to base the volatility automatically. You don't have to do any of this manually. Nothing is going to be required of you, but I'm just going to explain this. The options profiling is going to automatically plot, and you're going to realize where you should be trading because of standard deviation and the volatility skew, because the option players are going to tell you what they're doing. They're going to say, this is where we're keeping the market within these 3 standard deviations. These are the major levels within those 3 standard deviations. That is your playing field for the day. That is their playing field for the day. And it's very, very important, because if you don't know this, you'll have no idea where the trend is likely to stop, where the big reversals are happening, what the trend is doing, nothing. Okay. And so you can use the dashboard in combination with the striker profiles, and it's all going to happen inside your chart. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So this is not generic GEX levels or integrations into TickBlaze. This is not fixed daily data. Okay. And these are not indicators that are based off just static or manual options information. Okay. This is not that. The big difference with Striker, which is really, really critical, is it's automating everything to do with options on futures and stocks for 0 DTE only. The whole infrastructure is on day trading analysis built into the chain directly into TickBlaze. The main differentiator is that we are way, way more interested in open interest, volume, and gamma than just looking at GEX. Because gamma exposure is just gamma exposure. And that is not what we're doing here. Okay. Why? Because in our experience, it's only very, 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 very little to do with what the options chain is telling you. And so why does this matter? Because unless you have the ability to read the volatility skew with standard deviations relative to that options data, you have no way to differentiate probabilities of those levels. Okay. And so my vision for you is if I teach you how to understand the standard deviation of the tool, I'm going to then show you how to identify probabilities, which is going to tell you the best levels from the worst. Just like they're doing updates. Give me 1 second here. Perfect. So when we built this, okay, we knew we couldn't do it without a data provider. And why is this important? Well, you can't do this without options data. And it's not about just having an options chain. It's about taking the data and then having an infrastructure to analyze what that data is telling you, and then creating a tool to make it visual so that traders could understand how to trade it. There's so much more than just plotting levels on a chart. It's about understanding the power behind the data. And the goal here is that we don't want you doing anything, because we built it into TickBlaze so that the back-end data layer does everything for you. And my vision is that this replaces everything to do with support and resistance in the business. Like, yes, volume profile is important because it looks at volume. Yes, supply and demand is supply and demand, but there's no comparison. Like, that's like going to the sandbox versus going to NASA, right? Like, they're in totally different leagues of their own. And the reason why, and I'll tell you why, is because all of those other pieces of resources are built off of retail methodologies, retail information. This is 100% built off institutional data and how we extract that data so that we can put it into a decision-making pool so that you don't have to second guess your decisions. Okay. Now, the why behind this was we were doing this manually for months. There's a reason this stuff works, guys. Like, these are trades we've actually traded, pulling this type of analysis into charts manually. This was not fun for us. It was extremely useful, extremely relevant, extremely powerful. But there's no way I could help thousands and thousands of traders have an advantage doing this manually. I tried. I wanted to. Hell, I taught our instructors. We even do it in our trading rooms. But it's next to impossible for our students to have this up and ready in very little time manually. We even took the data, extracted it from the options chain, brought it into AI, sorted the data for AI to tell us where the best levels were, and then we would trade it. There is no way a human being can live their life and trade this way. But the data was so powerful and so accurate that deep inside, you're like, well, shit, like, I don't want to trade any other way because this is so powerful, but I don't want to spend 2 hours every day prepping this information. So when we did it in the trading rooms, our instructor, right, would do this manually. He would plot the levels. He would get up 2 hours every single day, literally do the heavy lifting, try our best to help all of our traders see all these levels. He would trade those levels in our trading room, and they are really, really powerful. But if the trading room instructor is not there, you're shit out of luck, because you got to do the work. You got to do the analysis. You got to think. You got to prep it. And so, yes, they work. Like, these are all the trades that we've been taking for months and months on these levels, right? But we had to do it a different way. Like there had to be a better way. And so I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I mean hundreds of thousands of dollars on developers, R&D teams, UNIX designers. Our C-level team got involved with data providers. And what we did was we took the old way, which we knew is absolutely the only way traders should be looking at the markets from here on out. And we said, we're going to build it into TickBlaze. And that's exactly what we did. We built the most revolutionary tool for day traders based off institutional data that exists in the world. And it's so batshit easy that all you need to do is turn your platform on, press on, and it's going to calculate everything for you literally within 10 seconds. And all you got to do is understand what the information is telling you. And that's our job. Our job is to tell you what it's telling you. We will teach it to you. We will spend days and weeks teaching you how to read the data so you don't have to be guessing and you never feel like you're a retail trader ever again in the market. That's my vision. My vision is if you're using TickBlaze, okay, and you're using this tool, you never have to feel like you are blindfolded to what's going on in the market ever again. Okay. Here's a trade that I took yesterday. To the tick. Big reaction. I'm not looking to swing for the fences on every single trade. But look at the market. It went from level to level. Take a look at this. Big level here. They stopped the market. Big level here. They stopped the market. Nothing in between. They're just going from level to level. Why? Because the options chain is designed to hold the market between those levels. Why? We don't need to know why. All that matters is that they're showing that that's what they're doing. And that's what the options chain is doing because they're trying to keep the market in those positions, because if not, big banks are going to lose a lot of money. Banks are going to lose their hedge. They're going to be caught on the wrong side of the market, and that's not going to happen. So they control it. They manipulate it. Now, there's many ways to trade these. You could trade these based off first touch. You could trade these based off reversals. Look at this. Critical. Okay. So we had somebody in here say, well, where do I enter? Where do I take targets? Well, trend is down. Median volatility, put percentage is high, which means I should only be selling. Trend is down, trend is down, trend is down. Market comes up, sell off a key level, take your targets at every single strike price on the way down. You just exit. You take your short, target, target, target. There's a reason these strike prices are designed to show you the chains in between, because the bigger traders are going to go from big level to big level, which means you can scale out on all the small levels and you never need to guess where you should be taking targets ever again, because the options chain will tell you where there's open interest and liquidity for those positions. That's why we built it this way. Not only do we get to position the entries, but we get to show you how to use it for targets. Okay. Here's another example of a trade I took. Real simple. I already showed this image earlier. I think it was on the other slide, but key. Really, really key. This is the gamma flip. This is where all the puts overtook the calls. As soon as we broke through that, we came up to test it. Boom. Now that's a counter trend trade, but that was the big, big level for the day. So that's where they stopped the market. And there's a reason they stopped the market there, is because that's what the chain told us they were going to do, right? It's not about, oh, I think they're going to stop the market, or, oh, I think it's going to touch VWAP, or, oh, no, all that shit's useless. It literally is. Like even VWAP's useless, because VWAP is just a benchmark for whatever. Any monkey can put VWAP on a chart. That does nothing for intent. It has nothing to do with their interest. That has nothing to do with their open interest, right? This is very, 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 very important. You guys understand the power behind the data. Now, give me a yes if this is somewhat exciting to you. Yes or no? I mean, this is a year of work. This is massive. Okay. We're going to be doing this every single day for the rest of the time until I retire. This is the future. This is the future. Okay. Did everybody understand what I was sharing? Yes or no? I know it's pretty heavy for many of you. Maybe no. Okay. For those of you that are like, I know he's talking about something important, but I'm not really sure I get it. We're going to teach it to you. All you need to want to do is understand that I want to know what the big banks are doing and why. Okay. So let's go into this. Okay. Well, give me a market. Crude, gold. Let's take a look at gold. Like, this is just insane. All right. So I'm going to just do this for a second. I want you to understand something here. Okay. Everything you see here, it's on the scrunched up on the chart. Everything you see from here to here is the option chain. Okay. And just because the options chain is here doesn't mean the market's going to get there. Okay. Very important. Now, when you load TickBlaze, and don't worry for everybody in here that doesn't own TickBlaze, I promise you that won't be an issue today. We're going to talk to you guys today. Don't worry. Just if you're sitting here saying, well, shit, I don't own TickBlaze, don't worry. We've got something cooking here for you, and you're going to be very, very happy. Okay. Up here on the top of the platform, you see there's a toolbar here. There's this little teeny icon here. If I hover over, it says Striker. You click on this and voila. Options infrastructure, all built into the platform. Okay. The only thing you need to do is hit enable. This little teeny check mark here. That's it. Now, if I want to show literally everything on the chart, okay, I can literally show every single level that the institutions have in the options chain. Okay. This is critical. And what I can do is I can change the histogram width of this to make the levels bigger. I could do it bigger here. Let's take a look at 500. Let's see if it goes up to 500. I'm not sure if there's a max on that. Yeah. Take a look at this. Let's go here to 1,000. Doesn't go over 1,000. Okay. I think we max out at 500. There we go. There we go. So let me explain something. I can tell you right now the biggest levels for the day, but what's more important, okay, is that when you look at current price, depending on if you're in the morning or not, these black lines in here are 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations from current price. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means there's a very, very less than 98% chance the market's going here today. Less that they're not going there today. So let me explain what we do. How do we make sense of where we want to trade this? Well, you come into the software and you can literally just say, okay, I'm only going to trade the big levels. And the software says a lot more puts today than calls. So I want to be selling the levels as the market trades down. Look at how big that level is. That's big. Look at how big this level is. Major, major levels compared to this, compared to this, compared to this. Watch what happens. Market hits those levels, breaks below it. These are puts. The orange are calls. This is resistance. This is resistance. These are options chains that are sellers. The market breaks below it. That's a short. Market breaks below it. That's a short. Market breaks below it. That's a short. To the tick. And you can ultimately change the probability by saying, I only want to see the top strongest levels. Boom. That was easy. Like, that was really easy. Look at this. Every single level, come in here to the software, extend them, and there's your levels for the day. The key is I like to leave them off on the extension because I get to determine the strength of probability by the size of them. The size of them dictates how much volume is behind it. Now, this is open interest. I'm looking at the open interest on the options chain. If I want to switch this to gamma, it's going to change the data. Gamma is going to give you different levels of information than open interest. Okay. I can look at volume that has been executed at the gamma, which to me is fine. My two sweet spots are open interest and open interest gamma. So I'm always going to start with open interest because it's going to tell me where the open interest is on the chain. And then I'm ultimately going to then plot the strongest levels. I don't normally extend them. I prefer to leave them like that, because if I'm looking at it like this and I'm looking at the market from that perspective, I can see which ones are bigger and which ones are not. I can see that this was the big level today because you can see the size of the profile. You can see it. That's why we call it striker profiles, because it's like a volume profile, but based off of the volume options chain. That's the big player today. We got below that. That's the big move. You miss the trade, you wait for it to get below the next strike price, you take the short. Miss the trade, take the short. Miss the trade, take the short. Don't trade against the levels when you can see that information. Then when they came right back up to it, where did they stop it? Critical. Like absolutely insane, the power of these levels. Now, blue is resistance, orange is support. So if I know that I have a much bigger put percentage on the day today, that means the banks have more open interest on puts, which equals the likelihood of sellers taking place. So whenever I get to a put resistance level, I should be selling. Done. There is no confusion on that. That's what they're doing. Like it's not, well, maybe they're going to do, no, like I can tell you right now, this is what's in the options chain. We're going to show you which ones are the most powerful levels. You just need to understand, should I be buying or selling these levels? That's it. And standard deviations will move in real time. So not everybody will leave them on. You can turn them off. You can go in here and turn standard deviations off. Okay. And you can just do that, which basically just that, like, it's as clean as you could ever expect it. Like it's just so much power behind what you're doing and understanding these levels. And once you get to them, you can just understand the potential here. Let's take a look at crude. Take a look at crude oil today. Like, let's take a look at this, okay? Crude oil. We're going to extend these out. Okay. The biggest profile today inside a standard deviation was this one right here. Maybe I did 100. Yeah, maybe I did 100. Let's take a look at it. Did I do 100? No, I did 500. Yeah, it's locked and loaded. And these are all going to be based off of the volume data inside of these things. So watch this. You can see the data. Like we have the ability to stack the levels. You can see the relationship between puts and calls. Okay. But we have a higher call percentage today inside of the options chain. So whenever we get to these levels, we're going to be a buyer. Okay. So we get above this level, we come right back down. What the heck are we doing here? We're buying. We're buying because even though this was put resistance, okay, the market broke above it. Broken resistance means all of the options traders that were basically banking on that working got squeezed out of their positions. And that became the big play. And where did they bring it today? They brought it up to the next biggest option level right here, and they stopped the market. That's it. Like they went from point A to point B. No confusion, no question. That's it. That's all. And what's interesting is you will see a different picture every single day. Why? Because the options are changing every single day. And so this is why, you know, what you see today will be very different than what you see tomorrow, because they're playing a different hand every single day, right? Every single day. Okay. If I go in here and I show you the S&P for a second, I'm going to show you what they did. Right here at the top, 1, 2, 3 standard deviations. See where it stopped? The standard deviation came right to that level, like literally to that level. Let's take a look here. Let's put this in here. 500. Okay. Now, I can go to all levels on the S&P. The S&P is a very thick market. This is every single put and call on the options chain based off of open interest. I can then go in here to gamma and I can show you the open interest on the gamma, which is going to give me different percent. Take a look at that. So this is the whole point of like, oh, that's a head and shoulders. No, that's institutions offloading at the edge of that standard deviation. So take a look at this. We had a strong uptrend today, yes? If you were trading from market open to here, okay, all the way up, okay, that was a big play right here. I'm going to draw this on the chart. I'm going to just take this for a second. Right here. Came right down. They broke through it. That was resistance in the morning. Take a look. That was resistance in the overnight. They came back up. They hit it. And they went all the way up to the big levels. That's where they're offloading. That's the key. That's the important part of today. Now, if you're trading this, that's a trend trade. That's a trend trade. That's a target. That's a target. And the key about this is that you just go into the striker. You say, I don't want to look at all the levels. I just want to look at the top, the best ones. Okay, take a look at that. Take a look at 20. Take a look at that. Go. And let's go in here to open interest gamma. Take a look at this. And switch this to volume open interest. There it is. Take a look at this. Like, I just can't stress enough this level in the pre-market that came in last night. Like, they just go from level to level. Like, that's the whole point here. Like, this is information that you, if you don't understand what they're doing, you're at a disadvantage as to why it stopped here. Okay. And when you get into this information, you can see that we break through it. They come back down to test that area. They come back up. There's nothing in here stopping price. There's no chain in here. You say, well, why did the market go into an uptrend? There's nothing here. There's no business here. They're not doing business here. Major information points. They bring it all the way to the top. They take profit. They bring it back up. They bring it all the way to the top. Take a look at that. It's exactly where they stop the market, like literally to the tick, guys. This isn't some random tool. They offload, they bring it down. Okay. So you look at the Russell. Doesn't matter which market you put this on. Okay. That was the big level here. Let's go in here and turn on a little bit more levels. I've got custom 40. And put all, see if there's any more information in the options chain. Now there's nothing left. It was very thin today on the Russell. Very thin today, which is why this was the only option chain that stuck out. Let's turn this to 500 to do this. Okay, there it is. So it's interesting when you look at a thin market like the Russell or crude or gold or whatever, and you understand it, and you have a picture today, okay, you have two things to pay attention to. Let me just make this super easy for you. If you come in here today and your chart looks like this, that's a gift. Okay. Okay, that's a gift. Now, why is this important? Okay, if there's no information in here, then that is the information. That is the information. That is the level that matters. That is the level that matters. You do not participate in between, or you trade from level to level. It is critical that you understand what the options information is telling you. If there's not a lot of interest in between the big areas, it's because they are planning on moving it from major strike price to major strike price. That is a gift. If you see that, be like, whoa, today's an easy day. I'm going to fade those levels. I'm going to trade those levels. Important. Very, 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 very important. And that's where we can make things simple. Now, we're not going to get into all of the settings. There's a lot of other stuff in here going on in here. I just want to, I mean, we can go into different modes. We can stack the mode. We can stack the put calls so that you can see the relationship between the calls and the puts at each level. This is a very, very good view, because what it does, when you understand what the colors mean and you understand the difference between calls and puts, you can turn it to a stacked mode. And then that way you can see the levels and what they're telling you. Like when you look at this and you look at this level, I can see that these are very little calls, but massive puts. Okay. And when I've got a heavy put ratio, 82% of the institutions are interested in selling the market. Well, sure, I could buy these levels, but I'd be better off selling the puts. Just really, really high probability. Selling the puts on a pullback. Very, very, very good information. It's a very beautiful look right there. Yes, it's very easy. And you can see the relationship. And you can see the difference between the gamma flip when the market flips on the gamma. This is the future, guys. This is the future of day traders for futures and equities. Okay. And my vision is to educate and instruct everybody in here on the best practices on this. Give me a yes that you see that as holy. Like, I want to know if anybody here is not blown away by this information. They're updating every 15 minutes, Jason. Yeah, they're updating every 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Now, here's the key. Okay. It's only available on TickBlaze. And I know many of you are not using TickBlaze yet. Many of you are using Ninja or TradingView or these things. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to do something completely new for everybody, because we understand that a lot of you already own TickBlaze. Some of you own Striker. Some of you own Striker and don't own TickBlaze. Some of you don't own TickBlaze, don't own Striker, right? So there's a lot of you in here. There's many different variables. So what we're going to do, okay, is we are going to give you an offer you cannot refuse. Okay. That is God's honest truth. There is no reason that anybody in here cannot take advantage of this information and use it to their advantage. Like, this is very, very important that you understand. We will do everything in our power to make it so that there is no barrier to entry for any of you. And we will also make sure that the cost savings is through the roof so that you can focus on winning using Striker versus, well, I don't know if I want to make that choice today. Okay. So the key here is this, is that you cannot do this manually. It is impossible. Like, I've never been a big believer of impossible. Like, oh, anything's possible. No, it's not true. The reality is that this is not possible. Manually, you're not going into the options chain and assessing this information on a daily basis to give you an unfair advantage. Okay. No, you're not going to do this manually. If we teach it to you manually, and then you're going to plot your levels for 3 days every single day. Okay. I can promise you this, though, that if you are trading without this information on your chart, you are literally trading like a retail trader who has no clue of what's going on in the market. That's a bold statement. You may be a great trader and you may make money, but you cannot tell me what the banks are doing. Okay. There is no way you're going to be this. You just can't. Like this. Like, if I said, hey, do you know where the banks are hedging today? Do you know where the open interest is on the chain? Where are they going to stop the market? You have no clue. You have theories. You have maybe information from a tool you maybe bought that is built by a man that doesn't do anything what the banks know, but you do not have the data that they're showing you. Okay. Also, you do not have access to an options feed that is free, that somebody else is paying for you. Okay. And the goal here is that it is meant to be used with everything. No, this is not meant to only be on your charts by itself. My vision is that it enhances everything you look at for the rest, okay, of your career. Why? Because if you're going to day trade, then you should have the best information, or you're literally gambling. You're literally gambling. Now, the goal here is that you don't have to do anything. Okay. You don't have to do anything other than turn it on, launch the platform, engage it, do your analysis. Okay. And by the end of this, you can actually say that you're trading with an institutional edge. Like that is a very powerful statement. That is very powerful to know that you get up every day and you understand what the institutions are doing. If you don't, my question for you would be is why wouldn't you want it? Like, it's not about money. It's not about resources. It's not about using other tools. It's like if you're going to put your hard-earned money, prop firm money, evaluation money at the line, why would you ever want to do this if you don't have the most advanced data and resources that can give you an unfair advantage in the business? The answer is simple. You don't want to win. Right? Psychologically, you may not understand what's at stake here. Your business is at stake. Your bank account's at stake, right? And your career as a trader is at stake. Could you use this with volume profile? Absolutely. Could you use this with market profile? Sure. Could you use this with supply and demand? Absolutely. Could you use this with order flow? 100%. Like, could you use this with everything? Support and resistance, trend lines, VWAP? Yes, you can use it with anything, but don't do anything without it. You can absolutely use this with the one and done, Michael. 100%, especially for targets, especially for taking a trade and you're coming off a level and it breaks through it and it's coming through the other side. Absolutely. Yeah. And here's the kicker. It's going to save you hours and hours of work so you don't have to do anything. Okay. Now, Lady Luck, baby. I'm all about it. I was raised in a gambling family. Nobody ever wanted any damn money. Maybe that's why I went into trading. I always wanted to prove the family wrong, but Lady Luck is here today. And I was growing up as a kid. My mom and my grandparents would always take me to the slot machines. They used to believe they had an edge. Yeah. My sister, she's a poker shark, so she's a wildflower. I mean, literally a shark. Like, you do not want to play poker with her. I remember there'd be days where she would be like, "I'm gonna go. I need to go cash up." I'm like, "What do you mean you got to go cash up?" Like, "I'm gonna go play poker." No one would see her for 3 days. She wouldn't sleep. Fucking sleep at the goddamn table for 3 days. Walk out of there with like 30 grand. Right? True story. True story. She'll never tell you that. She's humble, but I can promise you that she learned from some sharks growing up. Yeah, I just played the guitar. So, all right, guys, let's run a poll. All right. Who wants to win a license? You got 1 minute. Money is in the kitchen. Hot. Tip it. Don't ever say no. Don't even be that guy that says no. Don't be that guy. There's always one of you in here that wants to say no. If it's in, if you're on my staff, don't do it. I'm all about the yeses, baby. Let's see it. You bet. Lady Luck. Don't worry, Manny. We're going to get through this in less than that. Lady Luck's on. Somebody said no. In it to win it. In it to win it, baby. That's it. We got 20 seconds left before the poll is done. 80% of you have participated. Steven, I know you are, brother. Steven's in it to win it. Everybody's in it to win it today. The whole team. Striker profiles. I'm gonna get t-shirts and we're gonna all be walking around with Striker. Michael, don't worry, we got you covered, brother. All right. That's it. We're done. Okay. So we're going to take those polls. Hopefully you guys, put coins in the wishing well. All right. So if you own TickBlaze, okay, if you own TickBlaze already, we're going to send you a special coupon via email. So everybody in here or anybody watching this recording, if you're a TickBlaze customer, go to your email. We're going to send you an exclusive VIP coupon code to your email. Here's the kicker. If you do not own TickBlaze, we are giving you the platform for free for the next year so that you can use Striker. Let me repeat myself. You do not need to purchase TickBlaze. Okay. You do not need to purchase TickBlaze. We're going to give you the software. Now, anybody that already owns TickBlaze is going to get discounts. Watch your email. Okay. If you already own TickBlaze, watch your email. You're going to get discounts sent to your email. If you don't own TickBlaze, okay, if you're new and you haven't purchased TickBlaze and you're just sitting here and you're on Ninja and you're on TradingView and you don't own any of these platforms and you want to use Striker, we're going to give you the platform as an additional discount so that you don't need to purchase the platform. You can just purchase Striker and it's packaged with platform in it. This way, there's nobody in here. If you're not using TickBlaze, there should be no reason why you can't be using it to take advantage of Striker. Okay. And anybody in here that purchased the Striker trading system, you're going to get an additional email with an additional coupon. So that way you might be able to double dip on your coupons. If you own TickBlaze and you own Striker, you're going to get additional coupons. The goal is to just give you discounts across the board. If you already own the platform, you get additional discounts. That way, it's fair for everyone because some of you have already purchased the platform and some of you are getting the platform for free. So we're going to pass those discounts on to the other users. Does that make sense? That way everybody wins. Okay. That way everybody is on an even keel. I want everybody using Striker. Okay. Okay. So does everybody understand that? It's a crazy deal. Yeah, it's batshit crazy. I want everyone in the world using Striker because I've invested. You have no idea the resources behind this. It's crazy. Yes. Thank you, Tom. It is a very, very good deal. Yes, it is. Yes. Okay. Now, AMA. You got to be there. Got to be in it to win it. Okay. You got to be in it to win it. Tomorrow, please promise me you'll be there. How many of you guys are coming? Let me run a poll. This is very important. Yeah, it is about ethics, Robert. We want to help everybody. And the only way that you're going to be using these tools is not on Ninja. It ain't on TradingView. It ain't on Quant Tower. It ain't on any of those other platforms that do not spend that type of resources behind these types of tools. Okay, I'm promising you this. We are innovating. We are doing bigger things, which means if you don't own TickBlaze, you don't even need to buy it anymore. You get it with the cool tools. That's a gift, by the way. Be grateful. I'm saving you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars so that you can take advantage of these cool, freaking awesome resources, right? So because of this batshit crazy grandfather offer, I'm making you an offer you can't refuse, just like the Godfather. I am going to run a purchase poll. I really, really need everybody in here to answer, okay, answer this. I need to know, are you buying it? Because I have a lot of people on the standby. I need to make sure that we are going to help you get up and running. Remember, you do not need to buy TickBlaze. If you don't own TickBlaze, the platform comes free with the product. Okay. So please fill in the poll, guys. It's very important you answer this poll. I have to have, and there's a reason for it. We have to let the data providers know how many people are coming onto the software. We have to update our teams. I need to know this information, please. It's very, very important. So if you're buying this, this is the last time that you're going to be able to do this for this type of a deal. For now, it's for the year, Al. It's for the year. But we'll most likely be doing something in the future to change that. So don't worry about that. That you won't have to stress out on that. If you don't own TickBlaze, it's impossible for you to use Striker, Peter. You have to use TickBlaze. It's built inside the platform. It's part of TickBlaze. It's part of the platform. It's not a tool. It's not an integration indicator into platforms. It's literally the platform. I need to know, honestly, guys, this isn't some ploy on sales. Like, if you're going to buy this, I need to know who's going to be in the AMA. I need to be able to let everybody know. I need to let the data providers know. Like, I have a direct plug to the options data providers because I need to let them know how many people are going to be loading the servers. Remember, we're buying the data. Yeah, Michael, do you own TickBlaze? Are you a customer of TickBlaze already? Have you purchased the Striker trading system, Michael Crowley? Are you completely new? Tell me what you've got, and yes to both. Then you're going to get 2 discounts. Check your emails. Your price will be in the email. You do not need to buy TickBlaze, Peter. TickBlaze comes for free. That is today's offer. If you buy Striker, we're going to give you the platform. It is part of the TickBlaze infrastructure. Yeah. We're saving you thousands and thousands of dollars. Yes, every day. This will be in our trading rooms. This will be inside of our resources. Absolutely. Michael Oram, are you a customer? Have you purchased TickBlaze before? Have you purchased Striker profiles? I just need to know who you are. You purchase it, then you get discounts. Check your email, Michael. It's all coming in the email. Your price will be in the email. You'll get all the coupons in the email. You don't have to stress. Yeah, everything's going to be in the email. Yep. Yes, it is, Matt. 1 year of TickBlaze. Yeah. Ashley, can you let everybody know when to expect the emails? A lot of people saying they haven't gotten emails yet, or
yeah, absolutely. We weren't sure how long Sean was going to talk for today, so the emails were coming out on the hour. So if you give us about 10 minutes, we're going to try and push them out a little bit sooner. But yeah, we had them scheduled for the hour because we normally go 2 hours, so they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, we have therapy sessions once a week with our staff because we're trying to dial it down here. People tend to tell me I tend to talk a bit, right? Well, you don't want somebody that's scared to talk trying to teach you this stuff. I can promise.
I don't know what they're talking about there, Sean. That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
No.
Guys, if you're interested, whether you know your pricing or not, just put yes. We'll let you know what the pricing is and discounts and all that stuff. So
yeah. So as a base price, just so you understand, the base price, you see the website?
yeah, we see it.
Okay. So if you go here to the marketplace, this is a resource for all of our apps. We provide indicators and algorithms, and we're going to be releasing software, and we're going to still be releasing all this stuff. So there's a bunch of free stuff in here. You know, we've got a bunch of stuff, but if you click here, you can realize like today we've got Striker profiles. You know, we have a lot of resources that are coming out inside of the App Store. Okay. Now, the App Store requires that every year you have a maintenance fee that is paid. Why? It costs millions of dollars to keep this software operational. And instead of charging you annual subscriptions on the apps, very important, we could charge you annual subscriptions for all the tools that you're using, and then you got to buy it every single year, which is very expensive for everybody. Instead, we charge a maintenance fee. So you'll get it for free in the first year. So the cool thing is that at the end of the year, in order to keep all of your apps active, you will need to pay the maintenance fee for the marketplace, but it's not due for another year from now. So don't stress.
And it's
right?
one per user, not per item.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have multiple items, you only pay that once a year, either way.
Yes. So if you bought Striker today and one and done last week, or a couple algos in 4 months from now, you don't pay it per product. You pay it per customer. So you'd only pay a license fee for yourself. Yeah. Makes sense? Yeah. And that's all explained in the emails. Yes, it is. That's a maintenance fee per year to keep the App Store active for all. It is cheap. Yes, it is, Bob. Yes, but you do that over a large amount of users using the platform and you make it affordable for everybody. And then you're able to pass the savings down to everybody. And that's the goal, right? Not all companies think about their customers. They think about making a ton of money and driving Lambos and whatever. You understand all the details and that you're going to crush the markets trading with an unfair advantage, like domination. I don't want you to make a little bit of money. I want you to slap the market with your bare hand and make it your you know what, because that's the power of Striker. And anything less is an insult to your potential. Perfect. All right, traders, listen, my team is on standby. They are going to be reaching out to you all day tonight. So for those of you, be around, answer your phone, answer your email. They will help you. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for your time today. And let's make today one to remember. Let's get you up and running on Striker. And we'll see you in the trading rooms tomorrow for those of you that are a part of the trading rooms with us. Yes. Yeah. Take care, guys. Have a fantastic day. And you guys are all rock stars. Take care.